Come on up.
Thank you very much, David. Now this is Mug 207, or Muggles in Real Life. And I'd like to ask you this. Have you ever seen Muggles in a fight? Yes, a few have seen a Muggle fight. Now I was out doing some research, and I decided to go to one of these places that they eat, and then they watch things on the TV, a sporting event. Check it out, sports bar. Very interesting. Now, Muggles, they're very much into their sports, unusual games. Nothing even flies around. And as they were watching this, two people got in a big disagreement. I believe one of the teams was green and white, and one of the teams was blue and gold. Now they couldn't resolve this in the normal way. So one of the Muggles invited the other Muggle outside. I did not understand what was happening. Why would they go outside over the disagreement? So I naturally followed them outside. They went out back, and they decided to face off. They took their positions, and then they had what I can only describe as a duel. But it was a duel without wands, completely without wands. It was just person to person. And this got me thinking, do Muggles duel? Can they duel? Yes, they do duel. Very true. And they have a whole wide history of it. They have special instruments designed for dueling. So I decided to look into it. And there are these people called reenactors that specialize in doing Muggle duels. So I contacted one of these people. One of them happens to run Griffin's Rest in Muskegon, and they have all sorts of instruments. He showed me how to use some of them. And now we are spreading that knowledge to you. Today, I have a very special person to help me, the Professor of Defense Against the Dark Arts, Professor Whitestone. If everyone would help me welcome Professor Whitestone to the stage. Excellent. Now, Professor Whitestone obviously specializes in defense against the dark arts, and Muggles don't really use the dark arts, but they have their own variety of dark arts. Now, these first instruments are called staves, fighting staves. I came across some unique and interesting research in that in ancient times, they had a special type of duel which mostly tested head hardness. All right? So this has never been observed. Do you want to hand me that piece of paper right on top there? Perfect. Yep. Thank you very much. Now this has never been observed in Muggles before. We only have a written record of it. So we really have to kind of figure it out together. But we have the instructions. And in these, it says that each person chooses one staff. These are just staves we picked up in our Defense Against the Dark Arts closet. And now, person number A, person number one, kneels. Person number two then strikes person number one on the head. And then the process repeats the other way. Person number two kneels. What's up, dear? Person number one strikes them on the head. Ah! And then the other way. Now eventually, someone has to capitulate. Someone gets knocked out. And then that person is the loser and the other person wins. The issue is then resolved. This is how ancient Muggles achieved peace. Thank you. But as technology advanced, they needed more technology involved in their dueling itself. They needed to advance their methods. The next stage is the use of the sword. Now these swords are authentic replicas of the kinds Muggles really used to resolve their conflicts in duels. The key here is to move with swiftness and dexterity to win the contest, as we will now demonstrate. And that is exactly how the duel is done. Now, the last stage of technological development takes it to a whole new level. And this is the use of the gun. Yes, I heard it over here. Now, these authentic dueling pistols, they're muzzle loaders, so they can only fire one shot at a time. In this process, the Muggles stand next to each other. They walk away 5 paces up here, so that they are 10 paces away from each other. They then turn and take their shot at resolving their conflict through the use of a bullet. Now, what I'm going to want is I want everyone to count off the paces. Do you think we could practice the counting first? Huh?
Sure.
Let's count to 5 together. Here we go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Bang. Now, since these guns are not going to go bang, we need someone to go bang for us. All right? What we're going to have is, this is the dividing line right here. This side is going to say boom for Professor Whitestone. So this side, can I hear boom? Yeah, pretty good, pretty good. One more time, here we go. Ready, boom. Yeah, that's not bad, not bad. All right, this side I'm expecting to be better because we want to win. All right? This side is going to say pow. All right, that's my sound, the pow sound. Here we go, ready?
Pow!
Oh yeah, that was strong. That was really strong. I do not mind at all. Here we go. So, cock the pistols. Back to back. We're going to count off 5 paces. Here we go. Ready?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pow!
All right. It was a good attempt. It was a strong attempt. But I think the boom was a little stronger. Now, Muggle dueling, obviously a very intense type of conflict resolution. And we know a lot about it, but there's definitely more we need to learn. We are trying to study it in the field. We have professors all over the world looking into this. Does anyone have any questions about Muggle dueling? No questions? We'll take one question. One question will definitely be answered. You, ask me a question. That's an excellent question. The question was, why do I have to ask you a question? It's important for your grades to be able to ask questions. Now, everyone so far has a solid C. All right? Everyone starts out in the solid C. And as we get more involved here, we are later, right? Later in your careers, as you get a bit older, you're going to be able to demonstrate these. So as we work our way up, whether you're going to Ilvermorny, whether you're going to Hogwarts, you'll be able to work on these skills. Did I have a question here?
Have you ever heard of martial arts professor?
Have I ever heard of martial arts professor? I've not heard of martial arts professor. So I do believe the martial arts are a certain type of skill set that Muggles use, which incorporate a variety of techniques for dueling. But I'm not sure they're able to achieve the level that we professors have achieved in our understanding of things. So maybe they're working to get there. Yes?
Have
Yes, there were other weapons they used. So the oddest weapon that I've ever encountered in my research of Muggle dueling was the human voice. Now this seems a bit odd, but there are many ancient Muggle cultures, such as Eskimos. Yeah, it might be the most powerful one, that's true. That literally sang when they had conflicts. And this is probably the oldest and the most recent, because continuing today, we have things known as rap battles, which continue that tradition. Yes. Muggles, humans. So as you insert yourself into Muggle society, it is important that you do not necessarily call Muggles Muggles. This really confuses them. It raises a lot of questions. It works decently well to call them humans. A lot of times they like to be called people. So I suggest you change those up, humans, people, see which one they prefer in that area. Yes, here. In the case of the guns, if both Muggles miss, a lot of times they would have two guns, so you get another shot. And then sometimes the people would decide that the issue was resolved, and they would walk away. If the issue was not resolved, we're trying to do further research and figure out what they would do in that instance. Yes, this one here. All right, the question was, would you fight on wheels? I have not yet encountered Muggles fighting on wheels, but Muggles did used to fight off of horses. And it seems like, in the modern day, they might also fight off of wheels. I've not encountered that in my personal journey. All right, excellent questions. One more, last question.
Is there a proper attire?
Is there proper attire? Should you dress in something specific? Now we know that a lot of times when we're doing wizarding duels, we do normally dress in our robes. And Muggles have sometimes the same thing, but it seems like they often break that rule. Sometimes the duels would be set up at a specific time with specific clothes, and they would meet, and it would be a very formal thing. Other times, Muggles seem to get angry, and then a duel just happens. And at that time, they're just wearing whatever they're wearing. Excellent question. All right, a lot of excellent questions. Now the important thing is homework. What should you do with this newfound understanding? The important thing is to keep learning more and more. So, the next time you see Muggles fighting, what I would like you to do is to go up to them and ask them if you can watch them duel. Thank you.